One second. Okay, I had to plug in my microphone. What is going on, you guys? I'm going to give some of you all a opportunity to, possibly join me if you so shall, and I will go from there. I've been experimenting in regard to, pretty much all of my platforms, including here on YouTube, and I see that YouTube is offering some effects or whatever the case may be. So I'm experimenting, trying to. Uh, I don't want to say stay afloat, but I'm just trying to make things a little bit more interesting when it comes to all of my platforms. And I know that I need to put in. I don't have to put in any motherfucking thing, to be honest with you. I'm not trying to be like everybody else, And if you've been following me, you would already know that I tend to go against the grain, and that's how Source created me, to go against the grain and not do what everybody else is doing, and nor do I want to do what nor do I want to do what everyone else is doing. I'm not going to take up too much of your guys' time. I do have a 12 step that I am going to attend here um, within an hour or so. But until then, I will, be with you guys, until otherwise. Today is a fantastic day for myself, and I'm going to dedicate this, excuse me, today. I'm sorry, you guys. Today is a fantastic day for myself, and it is a fantastic month as well. And I'm going to dedicate this month and this particular day to all of those addicts out there, especially you addicts that are still suffering in silence and do not think that it can, that it can that it can happen and or be done. I am here to say that it can happen and it can be done. And I made shit happen even during, phases of relapse. And I'm not here to glorify relapse by any means. But what I am saying is, even through, I got- even while being kicked down, stomped on, trampled on, spit on, pissed on, shit on. I mean, at your lowest of low vibrations, I still managed to accomplish certificates. And I wasn't the first certificate that I accomplished while going through relapse. It wasn't a bad relapse. And I say that because I know when I go through a bad relapse, I'm sleeping for, days at a time and et cetera, et cetera. So I knew that it wasn't a bad relapse, but it was a relapse regardless of the point. Thank you guys for listening and joining. I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you very, very much. I'm basically telling, the world that it can be accomplished in regard to addicts. A lot of addicts feel like because they are addicts, things cannot be accomplished. And the story that I am telling, as of, right now, is the fact that it can happen. Today I earned a certificate and I will show you guys. My name is covered, not that it matters, but what it does matter. But here's my certificate, and it's for suicide alertness. And I'm very excited about this. And there's a story behind why I went to this particular course, which was free. Hold on one second. Let me see what you guys said. Thank you so much, Cynthia. I really do appreciate those nice, kind words. It's people such damn, it's people such as yourself that keep this particular addict going. Amongst other things. But um, I'm excuse me. Damn. I am asking the invisible to bless you as of right now for those kind words. I really do appreciate it. But yes, you guys, I woke up at 9 o'clock. Well, I woke up before 9 o'clock because I had to be there at 9. I woke up this morning, got myself dressed, made myself breakfast, and I hit the road and I made it there. And the class was very informative. It was taught by authentic Indians, and there's a story behind why the organization came to. And basically, I don't want to say we, but a lot of people know that the Indians found, land or whatever the case may be. Christopher Columbus came along and, alleged that he found it, et cetera, et cetera. So Indians, what land that they do have and what land that I've seen them on here in, the Arizona area, or the Arizona Valley, it's shameful. Um, it's really shameful that they live in poverty. To put, I mean, just to be, frank, they live in poverty, and I did not realize that Indians or the Indian population, or whatever, they have the highest suicide rate amongst any nationality, and I did not realize this, but they're basically ostracized from everyone else. Their homes are far the fuck out. If they needed help, like the guy said, it would take a day or so before help can even get to the Indians. It's just real fucked up how what the Indians had discovered, or whatever the case may be. It's just fucked up how they're being treated today in regard to what the fuck they discovered. Yeah. But anyway, I'm happy to have this certificate underneath my belt. And not only that, but anyway, when I earned this certificate, I let me see, I think I am 9 days clean from methamphetamine, and I earned this, like I said, 9 days clean. But prior to that, I was going through a relapse phase, but I still managed to go through this particular course, which is a nonviolent crisis intervention training. And basically, this allows me to be a BHT, which is a behavior health technician. And as of right now, I am an independent contractor, and I'm working through this particular organization. They give me different vendors or jobs to choose from, and basically I just pick and choose my own hours, and I work when I want to work, and that's fantastic for me because it gives me a little bit more control of my life in regard to when it comes to corporate America. But anyway, I am working in a group home slash, how can I say it, boys, uh, adolescent prison, I guess you could say. Um, I don't want to give too much away, but the young men, of course, I'm not working with women, but I still don't understand why so many women get the opportunity to walk the hallways and whatever else in regard to the boys section of this particular place. But anyway, I'm working amongst adolescent males between the ages of 11 and 17 and or 18. They come from troubled backgrounds, and the department that I am working in is the, I don't want to, get the, the I don't want to get the letters or whatever, but it's the sexual department. I'm working amongst a lot of sexual boys, and from the stories that I've heard, it goes down. Okay, it goes down, and amongst each other, it probably goes down amongst staff, and it goes down, and me coming from the background of, well, not necessarily the background, because I didn't enter, how can I say it, I wasn't born into methamphetamine. I chose to dive into it. But anyway, having that background underneath my belt, I know how perverted I can be, just put it that way. And I did have some ratchet ass thoughts when I first started, that particular position. Oh, all these little young, well, not young, but available horny ass, yeah. Anyway, I had some perverted thoughts, and then as I started to get to know these, young men, um, my thought change, or my thought pattern changed, and I started to see them for who I just started to see them as human beings. It's a shame that a lot of them are so underage and in there for doing fentanyl and shit like that. And it's heartbreaking. But this is where Source and or God put me at this particular point. Um, amongst other organizations that I work for. But anyway, in a nutshell, I accomplished all of this stuff even while going through relapse. I even accomplished, and not to capitalize on, relapse again, but my peer support specialist certificate. October 22nd of 2022, I obtained that certificate, and I was going through the relapse like a motherfucker. I promise you. And I woke up every single morning because those classes were early in the morning. I woke up and I made it happen. And I obtained that damn certificate. Not that it's a big deal because a lot of people have certificates and degrees or whatever else, and they still cannot, obtain employment. I have now at least about 3 or 4 certificates underneath my belt, as an addict, and a lot of that has been accomplished while being under the influence. I did not allow being under the influence to discourage me from pushing forward. And this is the reason why I'm pretty much, here live, with or without you guys. I have to continue to open my mouth and do what I am supposed to do on behalf of Source. And that is help those individuals, addicts and or the non, just bring them to the light, show them a different way, et cetera, et cetera. And you guys can do it. There's no reason why you can't. There's also an app that I want to share with addicts that are still suffering. You may or may not have a cell phone, but there is access to computers and things like that, libraries or whatever else. I mean, I see ample homeless individuals within libraries reading and whatever else, and in the bathrooms masturbating and some everything else. They're there. So there's no reason why addicts cannot get the resources that they need. But anyway, damn, I was going somewhere with that, but my ADHD ass. Oh, the app is called The Meeting, and I thought that well, I didn't think that I knew all of the meetings here in the valley, but I thought that I knew a handful of meetings in the valley until I was introduced to this particular app. This app is a great app for addicts whom surpass their addiction phase and are well into their recovery and sobriety phase. And this app is for beginners, newcomers, individuals that have relapsed under 24 hours. All you have to do is, turn on your notifications and allow your notifications or allow your basically your notifications or wherever you're at to bring up all of these fucking meetings. And when I tell you that that particular app brought up so many meetings here in the Arizona Valley, I don't want to say that I'm shocked or I was shocked, but I mean I was literally blown away at how many meetings and this particular app has meetings that serve all different lifestyles, day, evening, and or night. So there's early morning meetings. There's brunch slash lunch meetings or whatever, and then there's a late night meetings, and then there's also virtual meetings. So there is no way that addicts are there should be no way that addicts cannot get the help that they need with all of these resources out there. And even me, I'm giving you guys resources regardless if you utilize them or not. I'm still giving you those resources to either incorporate in your own life, or give those tools to someone else that's dealing with addiction, and they can incorporate it into their lives and go from there. But I am really excited for myself, and as I said, I'm going to dedicate this particular month and this particular day alone as dedication to addicts whom uh, passed away due to relapse and addiction, addicts whom are still in the fight and suffering in silence, addicts that well surpass the addiction phase and are well into their sobriety phase. All addicts in all addicts in all walks of life in regard to addiction is what this month and this day, let me rephrase, Anyway, I'm just dedicating this month and this day to my addicts. And I said, I'm not sure if I said it on here, but I said on my fair share of platforms that this will be the month of at least this particular addict that's holding this phone and whatever else. This is the month of or the year of this particular addict. Um, and my endeavors and accomplishments or whatever the case may be, is not to brag, but it's as encouragement. I want to encourage those addicts out there that feel like there's no way out of the situation. Um, I remember being at a 12-step meeting, and there was a addict, a fellow brother, so to speak, and they were pretty much down on themselves, self-destructive talk, because they had relapsed, and I guess they were a prominent figure in their community, and they fucked up because the devil temptate. The devil distracted them with temptation is what the fuck I'm trying to say. But anyway, their head was down, their eyes was facing the ground, and they were just really using some self-sabotaging words. And I felt for them. And there was once a point where I used to beat my own self up because I relapsed. And I will still allow myself to feel and process what I have done in regard to my impetuous decision. But aside from that, I continue to make the decision. I continue to make the decision to pick up and carry on, and that's my whole purpose of any of my platforms. Pretty much, that's the whole purpose of my whole entire life, to be that example to the hopeless that there is some hope out there. Anyway, I'm not going, like I said, I'm not going to keep y'all long. I'm going to reach out to some of my people on my other platforms, but I really wanted to come here and just hopefully uplift some vibrations and some spirits in regard to those that need it the most. And with that being said, even though there's no one here, it doesn't matter. Source doesn't care about that. He just wants me to open my mouth and spread whatever message that he wants me to deliver and that I want to deliver. And the message today that I want to deliver to the addicts and or the non, it can fucking happen. I don't have my certificate yet in regard to this course that I completed, but once I pay the money, which will come out of my paycheck, I will get that certificate, and that will open doors to damn, what's going on here? The ambulance is out here and shit. Anyway, that will open doors to a lot of different facilities dealing with behavior health issues. And you guys, not to brag, but just to show the accomplishment and to let it be known that it can happen. This was obtained earlier today. A 4-hour class pretty much earned me this certificate in regard to suicide awareness. And before I go, the story behind why I took this particular course is because when I was going through my lowest of vibrations in Las Vegas, where my addiction started, um, I always thought about suicide. I talked a good game in regard to suicide. Would I ever have done it? No, I was too chicken shit to do it. But anyway, um, I was I was just going through it, and my last hope was to call that 988 suicide hotline number, and a woman, Caucasian, I could tell by the voice, answered the phone and addressed me, and to my recollect, I know that I was hysterical. I probably was crying and sobbing, and the shit just was not coming out correctly. I don't give a fuck what I sound like and how hysterical I was crying, and whatever the case may be. That person was trained to conduct themselves in a professional manner And had I killed myself behind their actions, it would be a different story. But what I regret in the situation is the fact that because I was so distraught and going through what I was going through at that particular time, I did not get that person's information, because those particular suicide hotline calls, they're recorded, and I could have got that person in some deep motherfucking trouble. But because I was troubled, my mind just was not there. Anyway, I am trying to expound my truth to this woman, and as I'm doing this, they didn't chuckle, they didn't giggle, they didn't kiki, or they just full blown out laugh at my ass, and it lasted for a minute, and I'm on the other end of the line, like, okay, this is really not happening, and I did not know how to take it all in. Um, and I basically I crashed, and I ended up hanging. I think I said a couple of choice words, to her, and I ended up just disconnecting the line, and I regret that. I just regret not pushing it further and getting that bitch in trouble. But anyway, that is primarily the that is primarily the main reason for taking this suicide awareness course, because I want to show this trick, even though I haven't seen her or anything like that, but I want to show her in a spiritual sense how it should be done. Considering she definitely did, definitely, considering she definitely did not do it right. But yeah, that just pretty much sums it up in regard to why I took that course. But yeah. Anyway, you guys, thanks to all of the individuals that did come into the live stream. I thank you guys very much, and it was very few and in between that came through. And I definitely thank and give a shout out to Cynthia Hernandez 2988 or 2988 for those very encouraging words in regard to you just went from one to 13, and that makes me feel good, because was sorry, Cynthia, I surpassed 13. I went from 1 to 100, well, 1 to 1 motherfucking thousand, considering I know my addiction, and I wouldn't have done half of the shit that I've done and accomplished shit a couple of months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. So yes, I and you can come a long way. And with these last words, I will end this. Never allow any circumstances that you go through, especially addiction, because this is the community that I'm reaching out to. Never allow your addiction to define who you are. Allow it to refine you. And this is another reason why I'm here, because I'm showing you guys proof that my addiction is refining me. It it took away from me, but it is now giving to me. And with that being said, y'all have a good one. Happy sober living. Thanks to the person that gave me, the only thumbs up that I have, but it's okay. And yeah, namaste, you guys.